To everybody here, this has been a long time coming. We have been working on this portions of this project for 7 years. And I want to thank everybody who's here, everybody who's been a partner in this. And this is a milestone in Huntsville's success. A little more than a year ago, we announced that we were embarking on a course to make Huntsville a gig city. Today, we're proud to deliver on that promise with two exciting achievements. Huntsville Utilities will be constructing a massive new fiber network to serve our city's growing data needs. And that network will provide something else, extra room for broadband service. That extra room for broadband service will provide for providers to offer our citizens ultra high-speed internet. And one of those providers for that ultra high-speed internet will be Google Fiber. Google Fiber is coming to Huntsville. Jill Schumacher, who is right here, and I met about a year ago in our office. And when they came in, it was a very good day for the city of Huntsville. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in a few minutes. But the company's going to be using part of the municipal fiber network to bring gigabit internet to businesses and to residences. In the near future, our citizens will have access to the highest broadband speeds available on the planet. You know, we already know that Huntsville is a place where people do cool things, smart things, things that change the world. A rocket city deserves rocket speed, and that means a network that connects to the internet at 1 gigabit per second. Your internet will be 50 to 100 times faster today to tomorrow than it is today. Imagine how this is going to change the way that you use the web. Say goodbye to buffering. You can now download a high-def movie in about 33 seconds. You'll be able to stream 5 YouTube videos if you're one of those people who likes to multi-watch, and still have plenty of bandwidth to surf the web and answer emails. Think about the impact on healthcare. Mobility-challenged patients seeing their doctors through video conferencing. Researchers can share large files instantly with colleagues across the globe and work collaboratively in real time with multiple users. We could go on and on, but the possibilities are limitless. Fiber to home is the internet infrastructure for the 21st century. It is as vital to our quality of life as roads, as water, and as electricity. And it will become the benchmark for cities vying for talent. I was reminded about this 4 years ago at a CEO roundtable meeting. We were sitting there with a number of CEOs and we were discussing the next big thing for Huntsville. What do we need to have for what is the next big thing? O'Neill Smitherman, who was with Hudson Alpha at the time, said we need to have broadband capabilities. And then there was a robust conversation that ensued with strong consensus. When we got finished with that meeting, Jay Stowe and I stood outside that meeting room and we started talking. And Jay Stowe is the CEO of Huntsville Utilities. From there, we started a conversation on fiber, not just fiber for Huntsville Utilities or fiber for the city of Huntsville, but fiber for the entire city of Huntsville and the entire service area of Huntsville Utilities. And from there, we went to work. And we did our homework as a smart city does. Our fiber team looked at cities across the country and discovered all kinds of models and gig services. We brought in experts, and in the end, we decided on a unique model. And this unique model may well serve to be as the new municipal standard for internet service. Now, there's two people that I really need to recognize here. Harrison Diamond, with our administration, headed up the gig to home effort. And Harrison did a great job. He was our business relations officer. And I want to say, Harrison, thank you so much for the job you did. Raise your hand, Harrison. Where are you? Okay. As you can tell, Harrison is our token millennial over there. He was schooling me on gigabits and gigabytes on the way out here, so thank you for doing that. And then we want to say to Huntsville Utilities and to Jay Stowe and his team, You have done a wonderful job, a masterful job. You've shown why you are one of the best in the nation. Now, I have a few people we want to recognize, and as we recognize these people, because they are very important to the process, and Jay will recognize some of his people too as he comes up. But Joe Rich is here. He's chairman of the TVA board, and this may be a model for the TVA board. We have Richard Showers here with the Huntsville City Council. We have Mark Russell here with the Huntsville City Council. Both of those guys have already passed legislation that helps put this in place and make sure that this process keeps going. So we start talking about how this works and what we're going to do. We're going to put fiber throughout the city. Huntsville Utilities will build out an infrastructure and lease the dark fiber to Google Fiber, which will in turn offer its high-speed service to Huntsville customers. And may I say at this point, and I know that they'll be talking later, but to Jill and all the Google team, welcome to Huntsville. Now you can recognize the Google team. They all have their Starbucks in their hand. If y'all will raise your Starbucks back here. As I met each of them, they each had Starbucks in their hands, so we know who they are. But they are a great team, and we have worked with them for the past year to pull this together and to pull together an agreement that works for everybody. And to our partners from Huntsville Utilities, who we've got to say have done a marvelous job, Jay Stowe, will you please come up and tell us a little bit about this process? Jay, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. It occurs to me that it could be 1940, except that we're standing under a rocket and we're talking about high-speed internet. Because in 1940, the leaders of Huntsville had a vision and formed Huntsville Utilities to serve Huntsville and Madison County with electricity. And since then, Huntsville Utilities has been focused on serving the community. We supply foundational services of electricity, natural gas, and water to this region. We work hard every day to do what's best for our customers. Fiber is not new to us. 16 years ago, we installed our first fiber optic line to monitor our system. Over those 16 years, our need for data and communication has increased. As the mayor talked about, it's increased not only for us, but for our customers. We use fiber already to manage parts of our system, but we need it to be faster and we need it further into our system. So today, just like in 1940, with the vision of leaders like Mayor Battle, like our board members who are here, Electric Board, George Moore, Thomas Winstead, and Ronnie Bowles, and our Gas and Water Board, Dr. Jimmy Wall, with the vision that they've given us and the vision from the mayor, we are going to embark on installing fiber for our own purposes. It'll install fiber so that we can better utilize this to serve pump stations and substations. We'll be able to control more of our system, make the reliability of our electric, water, and gas system better. We spent this past year looking at different models on how we could do that. We've worked with Tom Ryman from the Broadband Group, who has helped us to develop a plan, has worked with our Huntsville Utilities team and the Google Fiber team to not only serve our own needs, but to allow this to expand for service for other providers. So pending approval by the Huntsville Utilities Electric Board tomorrow, we'll be expanding our fiber network to serve our needs. We will also have excess dark fiber capacity that will be available to lease to interested parties. One of those parties is Google Fiber. I want to thank the team at Huntsville Utilities, the team at Google, the team at the Broadband Group to put this together, and especially thank the Electric Board and Mayor Battle for the support, the direction, and the vision to make this a reality. Thank you.
A year ago when we met and Jill came to our office and we were sitting in the mayor's office talking, she said, I want to make this an announcement. And when we make this announcement, I want to do it under the rocket. Didn't you? So here we are under the rocket today, and we'd like to thank Deb Barnhart. Deb, thank you for the use of your facilities. It was a special request from Google itself, so thank you. Although we couldn't tell you it was Google the other day. But when we had that request for information last year, and after we got that exciting phone call from Jill Schumacher, the Director of Expansion for Google Fiber, and her team, and we started working collaboratively with his team to put a plan in for high-speed broadband to Huntsville's residences and small businesses. Huntsville will be one of the 10 Google cities, and one of the first city in Alabama to have the Google service. We are looking forward to that happening, and Jill Schumacher, who is Director of Expansion and Google Fiber, we want to say thank you for all the hard work that you've done, and we'd love for you to come up and address the crowd.
Thank you, Mayor Battle, for the introduction, and thanks to Deb Barnhart and the U.S. Space and Rocket Center for hosting us today. It's great to be here, and I did, in fact, ask the mayor about the rockets the very first meeting we had, perhaps overly confident, but at Google we spend a lot of time and energy on moonshots, ideas that seem impossible at first, but have tremendous impact if successful. And so it's quite humbling to be here in Huntsville, where the Saturn V rockets that powered actual moonshots were created, and in fact, one's right here. Makes me look even shorter than I actually am. So Huntsville has been at the forefront of innovation since the earliest days of space exploration, and you remain innovators today. Huntsville is ranked as one of the best places for science and technology workers, and has one of the highest concentration of engineers in the country. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited to be here today. As the mayor and Jay mentioned, I'm Jill Schumacher. I head up expansion for Google Fiber. And at Google Fiber, we provide TV and ultra-fast, high-speed internet services for residents and small businesses in several cities across the U.S. But today, the U.S. is still ranked 20th in broadband speeds across the world. Slow internet speeds have a daily impact on our lives. Small businesses lose valuable time as they wait for their cloud-based systems to load. Families fight for bandwidth every evening, or at least it's true for my family. I don't have ultra-high-speed internet at my house. And I'm willing to bet that each one of you have experienced the frustration of being in the middle of a project and having that buffering circle appear on your screen, and you had to wait for that. So one of our goals with Google Fiber is to provide internet users with more access to speed, competition, and choice when they're deciding on providers. But another of our goals is to help entrepreneurs and developers build the future of the web. We believe that a significant leap in internet speeds, from today's average of 12 megabits per second to speeds of up to 1,000 megabits per second, will bring about new applications and tools that we can't even imagine today. And we know that Huntsville will be an amazing laboratory for gigabit innovation. We're also here today because of the vision of Huntsville's leaders, these gentlemen right here. In 2014, Mayor Battle shared a vision for a gig city energized by super-fast speeds. Shortly thereafter, Jay and the folks at Huntsville Utilities built on this vision and decided to construct a fiber network that could support an electrical smart grid and other municipal needs, plus provide the best of the web for local families, entrepreneurs, businesses, and academics alike. To help achieve this goal, the city asked to hear from fiber providers who might be interested in working with them. This vision of doing whatever it takes to provide the best services for Huntsville residents is what inspired us to stand up here today and make a long-term commitment to bringing our service here to your city. As Jay mentioned, there's a lot of work that still needs to be done before we can actually start providing Google Fiber in Huntsville. But as we get closer, we'll have a lot more information to share about our product offering and how to sign up for service. Thank you again for having me here today, and very excited for what comes next. Thank you.
You can see why we were excited to be working with a team like this, even though Jill didn't have her Starbucks coffee and everything here. Jill, we brand ourselves as Huntsville a smart place. And I want to give you one of our buttons, a Huntsville Smart Place button, so that you can have that to remember the smart place where you brought the gig to the home. And I want to say thank you very much for being our partner.
Thank you so much.
I had to remind Jill in that first meeting that we first started talking to Google in 2010, when Huntsville threw their hat in to be the nationwide competition, become the first Google city. Kansas City, who accidentally named themselves Google City for a day, won out in that competition. And that was a pretty smart thing that they did. But today's announcement makes it worth the wait, because the model that we have put together is probably better than the model that we would have had in 2010. And in 2010, Peyton McNully was working for L3 here in town, and he was an employee on loan to head up our effort to become the first Google city. And since then, he's gone on to work as a technology director at Hudson Alpha, and he was on our pitch team early on. And he's also a local entrepreneur and the founder of Levendary, a yeast-making company for craft brews. And the Google crowd will be very glad to know that we have more craft brews here than anywhere else in the state of Alabama per capita. But we would like to ask Peyton to come up and give some remarks, because Peyton was at the forefront of this 7 years ago, and now we're finally coming to fruition 7 years later. Peyton?
Thank you, Mayor Battle, and thank you, Jill. We're excited about this. And so, as Mayor mentioned, I have many companies headquartered in Huntsville, and very diverse companies. And I'm kind of a typical Huntsville guy, and so I like to do a lot of stuff with tech. And so this has always been a big passion, especially for the past time that we've been pursuing this. And so I serve as technology director at Hudson Alpha. I also co-founded Huntsville West, a co-working space for other entrepreneurs to come in and see their visions take hold. And so Jill, your point about moonshots and Huntsville is something that I'm very passionate about, as are others. So before these entrepreneurs can actually get this activation energy and start their companies, most of their efforts are going to happen at home. And that's where the slowest internet lives. Until now. So I think this is really awesome to both stretch the connectivity gap, or compress the connectivity gap between entrepreneurs and others around the world now, as well as locally, and allow us to see what crazy stuff Huntsville can come up with next. And so thank you for inviting me. Thank you for coming. Thank you for partnering with Huntsville. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Jay. And we're excited.
It's very difficult for me as mayor to wrap my mind around the dramatic changes and opportunities that come as a gig city and what will happen to Huntsville in the near future. You know, Peyton has just given us a glimpse into what happens in the high-tech field with the impact on research. But think what this also means to education, to our teachers and our students. We've asked Susan Moon, who is the Career Academy Coordinator for the Huntsville City Schools and also was a coach for the #1 cyber team in America this past year. We've asked Susan to come up and give us some of her thoughts on it. And she's also brought along one of her students who is on the Cyber Patriot team, and I'd love for you to introduce him to the crowd too, and tell us about what the foremost experts in the room, and I mean our Cyber Patriot warriors there, what they think about what high-speed internet means to them. Susan?
Good morning, and thank you so much. We're so honored to be here. In full disclosure, I do have to correct one statement, though. I do work with all of our cyber teams and coordinate from a central office position, but Christine Sutton coached the #1 cyber team in the nation and was the AFA Cyber Patriot Teacher of the Year. So we have some wonderful things going on. My head's just spinning with opportunity that is here. Huntsville is a digital one-to-one initiative. All of our students have access to digital tools for learning, and to think that now we can increase the opportunities for our students, both at school and at home, exponentially. It just has my head spinning. Over the last month, we have implemented virtual instructor-led training labs in all of our high schools. These are state-of-the-art labs that allow us to take a teacher such as Christine Sutton, who has some incredible expertise, and share that with all of our cyber teachers and students across the district. With this kind of an opportunity, students can learn in real time. What this does is now connect us to the home as well. We've got students, if you are out for a field trip or if you are out because of illness, then you can connect with these labs in real time. You can actually talk back and forth with the teacher, with the other students, and still be part of the learning process. With our Cyber Patriot effort, we had 16 teams this last weekend that competed. Huntsville City Schools swept all of the top spots in both the open and all services divisions of the competition going into regionals, and we had 16 teams that competed regionally for a spot in the national finals. The ability for these students to be able to load these images and connect, the ability to expand the number of teams. I have had the good fortune of being part of meetings that had representatives from Homeland Security, representatives from NSA that tell us that there is a critical national shortage in cyber experts, and that if we took everybody who had an interest in STEM now and they all followed through with cyber, we'd still need more. Well, we could not expand our programs the way we're going to be able to now. So to have gone from 5 students 2 years ago to having 16 teams this year that competed at a regional, wow, the possibilities are endless. It's just going to be incredible. And I would like to introduce Carter Church. Stand up, Carter. He's one of our cyber experts. Carter competes at national level for us, and the things that they can do with the computers actually just kind of mind boggles me. I'm so very impressed, and I hope many of you will take the time to talk with him at the end of the news conference. And again, thank you to know that the opportunities we can now offer our children because of this partnership and this event. I'm very seldom at a loss for words, but I think I might be now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Susan. You know, we work every day to give every corner of Huntsville the best opportunities possible, the best jobs possible, the best quality of life, the best education, and the best future. And the step that we're taking today helps us to make that best happen. So it's very fitting that we're sitting here today underneath the Saturn V, and that we are the city that proved the sky is not the limit. We're a smart city. We even have pins that say that we're a smart city. But we're a smart city that looks far beyond what we see. Instead, we look at what we can do. Our vision is bold, and it is a bold move to provide internet to every family in the city of Huntsville. But our plan's solid, and our possibilities are endless. Thank you to Huntsville Utilities. Thank you to Google Fiber, and welcome to Huntsville. And to our citizens, prepare for liftoff. This is kind of a special day for Huntsville. This is the day that we launched our rocket. Years and years ago, we launched that rocket, and we showed that we could provide propulsion to take man into deep space. Today, we're making sure that we have the capacity to have the intelligence to keep moving forward as a city. And we've had some great partners in doing this, and thank y'all very much.